Hello, everyone. This is Joe. Welcome all that's involved in the call and all that would be listening at a later time. It is March the 20th, the spring equinox, and as I mentioned, I welcome everyone that's involved in hearing this meditation and talk about conditioning the levels of consciousness with change and ascension. So, as we get started, we might have some more people that join in with our call tonight. As we continue on with this, just to let everyone know that this phone talk and meditation will be recorded, and also we'll release it into a video on YouTube for anyone to listen to it at a later time for free. So what we're going to do, the sort of plan is for me to talk for a little while regarding the subject. Then we'll get into the meditation, and then afterwards I will take everyone off of mute. And right now everyone is muted. And when that time comes, then you can have, if you have any questions, you can say something, or if you have a comment, you would be open to doing that at that time. You could say that at the time. So going into the subject of conditioning the levels of consciousness, over the last 3 months, I've had many for these teleconferences. The focus has been the connecting ourselves to a greater degree with the levels of our being and our universal self, and really letting go of the blockages or the resistance that we have that allows or restricts more of the eternal knowledge of who we are to flow through. So tonight's topic of the conditioning part of this process is what we're going to go into a little bit more in depth about. And so a couple of different examples that I would like to go through that I share in my courses that have to do with the conditioning of consciousness and how frequency relates to, say, the conditioning process of how we integrate the levels of our own levels of being and our consciousness, and how these levels of consciousness are activated. And so these are some examples. And I just want to also say that for the information I'm providing, this is through my own research, my own observation of how I have observed how consciousness affects, say, physical density, my own experience regarding this, and also say that I've seen other people go through, not only, say, in workshops or in some other ways, simply through my own observation. And so this stuff that this information I'm sharing with you is just my own experience. And so for you my wish is that you don't really take this information on as, say, a belief, but may it assist you in your own path, in your own experience, and expanding your own knowledge of your own eternal self and knowledge and connection to the universe and these changes that are coming and or going on right now and have been going on for some time now. So take what aligns with your own heart and just leave the rest. Through our own integration and release, we actually open up the doors for more of our own eternal knowledge to flow through. And so that's the reason why I provide these phone talks and the information. So let's just talk about, first of all, the first part of this is going to have to do with our personal self, our personal, say, ascension, and this in the regards to ascension and change is one and the same thing. It's the process of changing in frequency and or light or consciousness from one frequency to another. And that is the process of ascension. And all that is change. And we're going through a process of change and or ascension all the time in our lives, in the universe. Everything is change. Everything is on a continuous process of changing, and that is the evolution of creation. And so the more that we become one with, say, allowing change to happen and or one with change, we are essentially being more one with creation, more one with our expanded self. And so in regards to conditioning, as if you were going to look at the process of conditioning consciousness, you could probably look at it, and as I've compared it to in the past, if you were going to, say, condition your body to be more in shape, you would probably go to the gym, or you would go and work out in some way to better align the body to be, say, either more physically in shape or feel better, either boosting your immune system or doing different things to condition the body to feel better. And, either that's, say, maybe cleansing or doing whatever you have to do to condition the body to operate at a higher frequency. And there's, of course, many ways to, say, condition the physical body, and I just named a few. So we're going to use this same idea when looking at conditioning the levels of our consciousness. There's a lot of people in the world that, go through this pattern of wanting to feel better physically, and therefore they condition, by going to the gym or whatever, to get the body in that state of higher frequency, either going to yoga or doing different things. But very few people ever think about the process of conditioning our consciousness, conditioning the levels of our consciousness. And we just don't have one level of consciousness. We have many. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 12 levels of our being, which relate to the 12 main chakras, the 12 light bodies, and how they actually connect with one another. And in the meditation, we'll be clearing out these 12 levels. Beyond the 12, there's, of course, many more levels. But these are the 12 main that are connected to our physical body. And these are really the levels that are going through so much change in these days that we're living right now. So those are the ones we're going to focus on for now. And so I'll give you another example regarding conditioning and how frequency relates to the levels of our being. I'll give the example of manic depression. I have had, a few friends that had manic depression, and one of my friends went through the process of a manic episode and then afterwards going into deep depression. And I was able to see the process that he went through. And I experienced this and saw him go through this when I was in my early 20s. And ever since then, it really gave me some ideas about how, consciousness actually relates to physical density. And it's been through my own research of how, everyone goes through this process of conditioning. But going back through to manic depression, a lot of people view and or classify manic depression as, say, a disease or some kind of, label. But really, manic depression is just a process or a level of, say, imbalance in some way, where the consciousness has been and the physical form have not been conditioned together to be in harmony and balance. When someone goes through a manic state, basically what that is the higher frequency of their own consciousness. You could call it their I am presence or their God consciousness flows through the body. And, we have these, you can call it the chakra system. The higher level of, say, the gates of the chakras open up and it's not necessarily through the natural process of opening that these, say, when somebody goes through a manic state. It's almost like if you were looking on a scale of 1 to 12, and you're currently at 3, and then all of a sudden you jump to 8 or 9. It's a matter of, with each level of our levels of being, is a higher frequency of energy. Levels, consciousness, energy is frequency. And with every level of consciousness is another level of frequency. So if someone taps into a higher level of their being, and that level of consciousness and frequency then flows through the body, higher frequency consciousness flowing through a lower density form, that the physical density is not conditioned to handle that higher frequency, say, energy or consciousness, some kind of imbalance is going to happen. And so when that happens, when somebody's, say, in a manic state, that higher frequency consciousness is flowing through, of course, the crown chakra. It's going down through the brain, through the body. The person's in a blissful state, feeling awesome, maybe, have the connection into their levels of self and feeling, very much connected, say, to the universe and everything. And while at the same time, the physical body, though, is not conditioned to handle that higher frequency of consciousness and or frequency. And therefore, it short-circuits the actual brain cells in the person's brain. And it is from that state that then they crash into depression. And the depressed state basically is because the actual circuits within the brain have short-circuited. Actually, just like a circuit board of any electronic system, it had so much a surge of energy coming through it that it can't handle that amount of frequency flowing through. So it actually short circuits, and therefore the person crashes into depression for whatever period of time that is, either it's weeks or months. And it's through that period of, say, recovery that the brain circuits then rebuild themselves, and then after a period of time, the person then operates back to its, their normal state than they were before. And even, just to give you a little bit more example about manic depression, even the doctors that write the books about manic depression will say that the feeling that they had, doctors that actually have manic depression that have written books will actually say that high that they experience during that manic state is such an awesome feeling that they are willing to go back to that state at no matter what cost of what they think and or they know will happen, if they go back to that state because of the depressed, say, fall that they have after the manic episode. And so the main thing that I'm trying to describe here is that the levels of our consciousness, and when somebody is going into that manic state, it's not something that's outside of themselves that for which they are experiencing. They're only experiencing another level of their own being that is connected, say, to the universe and all that is. And so when taking this, say, into perspective, we'll also look at, say, autism. This is another thing where higher frequency consciousness of a young soul, it's a very, say, evolved soul, a very high frequency consciousness is attached to a lower frequency physical density of the physical body. And when higher frequency, any time that we, say, have a gap between higher frequency consciousness and lower frequency, say, density, the wider that gap is, the more instability there is. That's what happens with manic depression. The same thing happens with autism. It's a very high frequency consciousness attached to a physical lower frequency density. And so a lot of people, of course, regarding to autism, as another example, again, autism is another label that people have given to autistic children. But it's not really a disease. It's only imbalance. It's an imbalance of consciousness and or the conditioning of the physical being in with the conscious being. And so many people, of course, blame autism on vaccinations. But even, again, the mothers and the doctors will agree to a certain point that the child had some type of, say, symptoms before maybe the vaccinations were, say, given. Some kind of symptom in one way or another. But the main thing is it's not the vaccinations that cause the autism. It's the higher frequency of, say, consciousness in a lower frequency physical body. And therefore, any other lower frequency, either energy or food or vaccinations are very, very low frequency. And so when the vaccinations are given to, say, a very high frequency, very sensitive child, it makes the gap between the lower frequency physical form and the higher frequency consciousness even wider. So anytime you make that gap wider, more instability is going to come out in some way. And so the vaccinations in themselves actually just create more, say, expand that gap between the consciousness and the physical form. And also, regarding, say, another example with the autism, is that the parents and also the people that have done the research regarding it, when they actually take, say, the children that are having these symptoms or imbalances, and they put them on a very high-frequency food diet, giving them, taking them off of all of the, say, the hydrogenated foods, the food colorings, and all of these chemicals, and take it out of their system, and, again, giving them higher frequency foods, more raw foods, and so on, their symptoms essentially almost go away. And in many cases, which have already been reported, hardly any symptoms exist. So what that has done is that it actually changes the frequency of the physical body to better match the level of consciousness that is attached to the body. The gap between the physical density and the level of consciousness, therefore, is not that spread apart. There's not a big gap. And therefore, when there's not a big gap between the physical body frequency and the levels of conscious frequency, balance and harmony exists between the levels. So, say the same with the manic depression. When somebody goes from a level, say, 3 on a scale to an 8 or 9, the physical body is not conditioned to handle that level of consciousness flowing through it, and therefore some imbalance or condition or whatever is going to come out in one way or another. Either that's through emotion, mental instability, physical disruption in some way. So, going into conditioning, everyone in physical form experiences some form of conditioning, either in an up and down way that could be viewed as, say, bipolar or whatever else. Everyone experiences these up and downs. We are actually, the environment for which we exist with the astrological calendar actually does this not only collectively, but the whole universe in itself is a conditioning process, the conditioning of actual consciousness and density. And we'll go more into the universal part in a minute. But going back to the personal part, when we are presented with, say, I sort of describe the levels of when we are going through a process of releasing, and or we're presented with something that, if you were viewing an onion, and there's many levels to the onion, of course, and when we're in a physical body, there's nothing but continuous layers to the onion. There's always more to learn. There's always more to release. And in a lot of ways, we have to release in order to bring balance. And so fear is a very low frequency energy. And of course, when somebody is focused on fear, that level of consciousness is coming from a level of our being, and it's radiating through, of course, our physical body. It's living through the levels of our senses, the levels of our being, the emotional, mental, spiritual levels of the light bodies and chakras and everything. And so when somebody's continually in a fearful state, of course, that frequency is pretty constant through the physical body. The physical body is then in a state of, say, survival mode. It's more conditioned to that frequency of flight or fight kind of mode. It's very separated from the reality. And those levels of fear and or judgment are created by the lower 3 chakras. It's the bottom 3 chakras within our being. And there's nothing necessarily bad or evil about this level of our being. It's just connection of our physical being that creates this, and it actually is programmed into our DNA. It's a self-defense mechanism is what fear is, but we can evolve past that level of our being. There's many more levels of ourself that actually does not operate in that frequency of, say, fear. It actually has a level of consciousness that is evolved beyond fear and that judgment. It's a more levels of, say, knowledge, extrasensory, say, perception of the reality, to where we actually have, say, more awareness to what is going on, and therefore we don't necessarily need that fear programming as a self-defense mechanism. We have the levels within our being that actually have the senses to actually have more, say, awareness of what is going on in our environment. So when we talk about enlightenment, enlightenment in itself is only becoming aware of another level of your own self. And there's many levels of enlightenment. There's just not one level of enlightenment. For every level that we obtain a greater expanded perceptual view of our environment, knowledge of our own, say, internal self, we are expanding in another level of our own enlightenment. these levels are the levels of our own chakra system. The 12 levels of our chakra system and or levels of light body, you could be, say, perceive as 12 personalities of our own self, the 12, say, personalities of levels of personality, say, of the soul. With each level is just another expanded view of the same, say, reality, but just in an expanded view of, say, more eternal knowledge of your own existence, more connection and knowledge of how you are connected to the universe, the earth, other people, oneness, and there's nothing but more and more expanded perceptual views and knowledge of your eternal being. And so when we are conditioning ourselves and we're going up and down, say, the roller coaster of experiencing fear, experiencing, say, more blissful moments, more joy, more happiness, and then all of a sudden we're thrown back into this being faced with something in our life that totally rocks our world again, we're actually being presented with something to learn and expand from. We're being presented with something that we can actually grow beyond, to use it as a stepping stone to move further, to, and that could be in many different ways. A lot of people, we don't really, most people in this reality are not really connected into the process of, say, expanded self-awareness. They're more focused on neglecting the body, neglecting, say, your eternal self, and just mainly focusing on the ego brain of, getting more outside of the self. But the process of, say, going and integrating more of our own eternal knowledge is we're looking at our becoming more of the observer, of course, of our daily lives, what we are being presented with, using and seeing it not necessarily as always from the negative view, to look at what we are being presented with and see how it's reflecting within our being and how we actually can release and bring balance. When we are doing this, we're expanding the frequency that flows through our physical body. You could also look at this process of, say, releasing the outer layers of the onion, willingness to release the fearful patterns, self-doubt, the separation from other people in the world, integration of more levels of our own love. That is really standing in more of your own power. And with each level of your own standing in more of your own power, you're actually integrating, again, the higher chakra levels of your own consciousness within the physical body. You're really focusing, say, more on the higher levels of your being. And we all go through this process in one way or another. However, just most people are unaware of it. When we truly step out of fear, we're going more into our heart energy. We're going more in trust and love of our eternal self. And the more that love and eternal light we're integrating, the more that frequency and consciousness is rolling through, flowing through our physical body. It actually conditions the physical body to handle these levels of frequency through the physical body in harmony and balance. And therefore, we ascend. We are ascending in frequency and consciousness on a natural process. And everyone goes through this natural process of ascension. Some, over time, of course, have focused more in on this process and have expanded through the higher levels of their, say, realization more than others, because they actually took the time to work on this process. But again, most people in this time have really not taken the time to do this. But of course, that is what meditation is about. It's more self-awareness. Integration is this. So just going back to the manic depression example and that blissful state that a manic person, experiences. It's a matter of if the person actually let go of the lower frequency ties that they have to bring more balance to where there's not that big a gap between the level of consciousness and the physical density, more harmony and balance will exist. And this is what people go through when the actually natural process of letting go, the process of releasing lower frequency ties, lower frequency thought patterns, and fears and so on, you're actually conditioning the physical body to handle higher frequency energy. And as it's been written in many books, and as Jesus has written also and said, that just be the open vessel and you will be filled. By releasing the lower frequency ties, patterns, programs, and all these things that we're conditioned to perceive this reality from and hold on to, and these attachments, when we release and clear the space, higher frequency energy and consciousness will flow through. It's automatic. You don't necessarily have to do anything. All you got to do is clear the space. And it's through the process of clearing the space and conditioning yourself to handle higher frequency consciousness, you automatically are ascending. You are ascending through the levels of your own enlightenment. And all of these levels are already here. It's a matter of just letting go of the lower frequency, say, perceptions of our being and or the reality. Integrating more of our own love, oneness, unity, and so on. So going into, say, how this conditioning relates to universal ascension of what we're going through at this time. To give you some more examples to, say, ponder and view from, of the examples that I talked about regarding conditioning of our physical being, look at how over the last, say, 10 years or 15 years, how we've actually become, many, many more people on Earth have gotten more, say, connected and or talk more about and much more knowledgeable about the astrological calendars. And here we are in 2012, the year of change, and these equinoxes, as we're today is one, and the solstices are going to be very much more powerful at this time. And they have been increasing in power and or frequency for many years. So if we look at that in itself, that is creation. That is the natural conditioning of creation in not only consciousness, because everything is consciousness, but density. And some of you have also might have, been aware of, say, the triple date numbers of, say, 888, 999, the 10th month, 10th day of 2010, and then last year was 11/11/11, and this year it's going to be 12/12/12. That was, again, another levels of conditioning that was set up for many years to assist humanity and the levels of consciousness and beings here on this earth and within the universe to assist them in conditioning, integrating higher frequency consciousness in a harmonized and balanced way. We can't ascend, say, to a 12th dimensional level of existence, or, say, going from a third dimensional level of existence to a fifth or sixth, unless we're conditioned to handle that level, say, or being of frequency. Not only does the consciousness have to be conditioned, But if the physical body is going to be able to go through that process, it has to be conditioned. And so that's what's been going on for many years. It's been the conditioning process that actually has been changing our DNA to be more crystalline, more higher frequency. You could view that like on YouTube and online, on the internet. You could view those experiments with sound and sand, say on a speaker, and the higher frequency tones actually change the geometric pattern of the sand patterns on the. It's the same thing with the water experiments. Higher frequency, say vibration, changes the geometric patterns of the water molecules. The majority of our body is made up of water. And when higher frequency vibration frequency is put to this, it actually changes the geometric pattern, the sacred geometry. So, everything that I'm just throwing out here, you can go and research, do your own research, see and, experience, and what you can take of this, that this everything that I'm describing here is more scientific more than it is anything to do with any type of belief system or anything else. It actually is more scientific. It's the advanced science of consciousness, of creation. And this is what we're really integrating these days, is how we are more of, say, a spiritual being having a physical experience. It's not necessarily the opposite. We're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. It's the opposite. A lot of other people have also said during this time, and of course here in 2012 and beyond, is we're just waking up to more of our eternal selves. We're integrating our eternal, more of the levels of our expanded being that we already are. It's just a matter of bringing all these levels here in this physical density, bringing and activating all these levels of our own self to exist in this level of existence. But in order to do that, we have to allow change to happen within ourselves. When we hold on to things, fears, programming, say, of this is the way I view reality and this is the way it is, and or this is my religion, and anything that's outside of this, I totally don't believe. When we block our awareness from expanding and we don't release what we're holding on to, it actually restricts our higher expanded consciousness to flow through. So it's through the process of releasing, we open up the doors of our expanded chakra system, our light bodies, and eternal knowledge to flow through. And that process is a matter of conditioning. Just like if you were wanting to get in physical condition, you would go to a gym. And so it's not a matter really of waiting anymore. The universe is ascending. Mother Earth is ascending into a higher frequency form, and we're on Mother Earth. If we wish to move with Mother Earth into the next cycle of life here on Earth, it's a matter of conditioning. And even if those of whoever here, of us, that choose to leave the body, it's a matter of we still can get another body after that. We can also choose the Ascension timeline into the golden age, or on whichever reality you align with after you leave the body. You don't have to take the physical body with you. This is one of the main things that I wanted to express in this talk also. So many people are so tied up in the ascension as you have to take your physical body, and you don't necessarily have to take your physical body with you. And many people will choose not to take your physical body. And it's a process. You know, it's not necessarily a one-time event. It's a process. We just as we naturally leave the body when it's when we choose to, say when we set in motion before we came to this body, when we move out of the body, we also have the choice again to connect and integrate a higher level of our own being. We don't have to be in physical form to choose to expand and or say move into a higher level of creation. We can do this beyond the body as well as when we're in the body. So, you know, you can take of that what you wish, but I just wanted to pass that along. And so, as we are all evolving here on Earth, and we're integrating more, say, these higher frequency energies as the universe is moving into another level of the galaxy that some may call, say, a different magnetic null zone, or it actually has different magnetic energy than what we were previously, say, moving through, our universe was moving through in the galaxy. We're moving into a portion of the galaxy that has a different level of magnetics. And magnetics, of course, the Earth grids are all levels of magnetics. The levels of our consciousness attached to the physical body, again, are levels of magnetic energy. It's held in place by different levels of, say, vortexes of energy. And when we are subjected to, say, higher frequency energy or high levels of consciousness, it's a matter of releasing in order to integrate the higher levels of frequency that are in place at this time. And there's really nothing to fear of any of these changes when, again, fear in itself creates separation. Fear is what creates the blockages within the body that limits your own love from flowing through. So it's the process of integrating more of your own love that opens the channels, that allows more of your own eternal light and also frequency flowing through. And in that state, you are getting more and more combined, say, with the changes that are going on at this time. There also, we have to really, the more that we integrate more of our own eternal knowledge, the more that we see how creation works, how the changes in its cycles is actually a process. And we've gone through this process in these cycles many, many times. And we actually can awaken and remember some of these cycles. And not everyone is on the same level of, say, experience. And we've played many games before regarding these levels of consciousness here, say densities or third dimensional density or whatever. When we come and experience these levels within creation, we're here to learn more about ourselves. And some of us wish to learn more about ourselves in these levels of creation. So we have to be able to respect other people's wishes for which they want to experience. And, you know, we have many people in the world that may not want to, say, ascend into another level of, say, fourth or fifth density. They might choose to experience another level of third density because they might feel out of place in a fourth or fifth dimensional world. It's a matter of respect and honoring all life forms for their choices. When we respect other people for their choices and not judge them, but simply observe and allow and respect, again, that's a level of our own awareness. We're letting go of, say, the duality levels of our own being and how we're judging and viewing reality. Through that, we're actually integrating more of our own internal knowledge. And it actually brings more peace and balance within our own selves when the more that we are one in peace with everyone else and how everyone else is going through this process of change. So we're also viewing the earth, and as the earth is going through changes, we're much more at peace and balance with the earth changes and the universal changes also, if we're at peace and balance within ourselves. So, again, that is a process of conditioning. Everyone has the choice to release fear in different stages. How fast we go through the process of releasing is up to each one of us individually. And if we choose to come back and do this level of creation again or another level similar to this one, there's nothing bad about that. It's not, there's nothing to be sorry about. Anyone that wishes to go through this level of learning again. And many of us have come back into this level many, many, many times. And some of us like to do it because we come back in to learn more. Everything we do, we become more of a master of our own self. The master of our own self, the master of this reality, and it expands us to move into higher levels of existence in greater ease and balance. We're not going from a third-dimensional reality into a fifth or sixth that we're not really, say, at peace and balance with. So as we're going through this change also, that integrate more unity, love, oneness, peace and balance within ourselves, we are essentially moving in peace and balance with the universal changes. We then ourselves are the gap between, say, the physical density and the higher frequency consciousness is more balance and peace. There's less of a roller coaster. And again, it makes the process so much easier for yourself, and it also assists everyone around you and on the earth when we are doing this together. So that's the main part that I wanted to share regarding the talk and conditioning. So let's get into the meditation now. What I'm going to be again going through is, to give you a heads up, is the 12 levels. We're going to be focusing on the 12 levels of our own self. And these levels, again, are tied to the chakra system, the natural vortexes within our physical body, the 7 within the body and also above the body, and we have some below the body that ground us into this earth plane. And then we have the light bodies, which essentially are reflections, again, of our 12 personalities, again, that are all tied to the physical body. And so the next thing to give you some awareness about, this meditation will also be with Sai Baba. Sai Baba is going to be assisting us with this meditation and also working with each one of you individually. All right, so get yourselves comfortable wherever you are, either sitting or lying. Uncross your arms or your feet so that just all is open. You're taking some deep breaths. Take about 3 or 4 deep breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Just deep breaths. And in this meditation, I'm going to be asking you to do a lot of breathing. The breathing in themselves assist you in releasing the energies and the patterns and the density. And so when I ask you to take a breath, try to take a deeper breath than you say you would if you were in a meditative state, just sitting there relaxing, vegged out, or whatever else. Try to really participate to a greater degree in these releases. Everything regarding this meditation, it's not a matter of me activating you with anything. I'm only facilitating and walking you through clearing out these levels of your own being and activating the levels of your own self. There's nothing that I am doing this for you. I'm only facilitating this process and assisting you through it. So continue to take a few deep breaths. I hereby state to each of our I am presences, that my I am presence, my own I am God self, connects in with your I am God selves. And I hereby state to all of our I am God selves that are listening to me now and or listen to me and or the meditation at a later time, that all in alignment with our highest good and divine will of our I am God selves, that all energies are released and transmuted to light and love without conditions, and all is released and or integrated in harmony and balance through all dimensional levels of our being. I hereby state to the upstairs team of love to assist me with these connections, this technology that we're using at this time, these phone lines, and or levels of being, that all is in alignment with our highest good and divine will, that all energies and or connections or programs that are out of alignment with our highest good and divine will and or are based in control or manipulation are hereby dissolved to light now. That all is in alignment, perfect, highest good of each one of us involved in this meditation. That no outside interference in any way, shape, or form in any dimensional level of our being hereby happens. All is in perfect highest alignment now. All of these phone lines are in perfect flow and balance now. I hereby state to each one of you that hear my words at this time, I radiate the silver violet flame within the space that you sit or lay now. Silver violet flame on, radiating through all dimensional levels of your being out to the furthest reaches of your existence and physical form and light bodies and level of self now. The silver violet flame is encompassing all levels of your being now. Radiating, radiating, radiating. And all energies released into the silver violet flame are automatically transmuted into love without conditions. I hereby now state to Sai Baba to anchor and station himself within your energetic field, within your space, now. Golden light flowing, flowing, flowing. Sai Baba's been waiting to participate, been communicating with me for some time about participating in one of these meditations. So, with each one of you, again, that are participating in this meditation, if it aligns within your heart and willingness to open up for you, the levels of your own love. Sai Baba is radiating divine light, of golden light, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Krishna consciousness, whatever you wish to view it, but it's the divine light of the Mahatma love without conditions, the gold, silver, and violet light, flowing, flowing, flowing. Hereby state the Sai Baba to radiate love through your energetic systems throughout this meditation, that all is in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I Am Presence, God selves. Everyone take a deep breath. We're going to start with the first chakra. And we're going to work our way out. First chakra and first level light body. Take a deep breath. First level light body and first level chakra within all of it. Hear my words, hereby opening, opening, opening. All releasing, releasing, releasing. That's in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I Am presences now. All patterns, programs, and or any energy and or connection to any realm that no longer serves you in alignment with your highest good is hereby dissolved to light, then is involved with your first chakra and first level light body now. Take a deep breath. First level light body and chakra clear now. Radiating, 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 love without conditions. Moving on to the second level of yourself. Second level light body, second chakra. Hereby opening, 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 in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I Am presences, clearing all thought forms, all patterns of programs, limitations, self-disempowerment, in any form and or energy or program or code does in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I Am presences, dissolving all these connections and or energies to light now. Clearing, clearing, clearing. Taking a deep breath. Releasing all these energies, connections to light regarding your second chakra and second level light body now. Golden light flowing, flowing, flowing. Mahatma love without conditions, flowing, flowing, flowing. Moving on to your third level chakra and light body. Hereby in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I Am presences and God selves. Clearing all attachments, all emotional traumas, karmic patterns, programs, codes to any realm and or energy that no longer serves you in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I Am presences. Hereby clearing all these energies and or connections to any realm done in alignment with your highest good and divine will, dissolving all these energies and or programs to light now. Dissolving, 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 clearing, clearing, clearing. Third level light body, third level chakra. Taking a deep breath, blow out, release. Mahatma love flowing, flowing, flowing. Onto the fourth level of your being, fourth chakra, fourth level light body at the same time. Clearing all programs, all codings, all energies and connections to all realms within existence, limits the true divine love of your everlasting light that you are from flowing, and or any element and or coding or connection to any realm that limits the true divine love that you are from flowing. Clearing all these energies and or connections involved with your fourth level chakra and light body. Now, clearing, 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 dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Mahatma love flowing, flowing, flowing. Taking a deep breath. Moving out to the fifth level self. Fifth level light body, fifth level chakra. Taking a deep breath. Clearing all energies in all forms, all programs, codes, and any connection to any realm that no longer serves you in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I am presences regarding your fifth level chakra and light body, any energy and or connections out of alignment with your highest good and divine will now. Clearing, 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 dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Taking a deep breath, releasing, 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 releasing. Aligning, aligning, aligning. Fifth, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 levels of your being, aligning, aligning, aligning. Mahatma love without conditions, flowing, flowing, flowing. Moving on to the sixth dimensional level, the sixth level chakra, sixth level light body. Clearing all dimensional levels of your being level that are connected to your sixth dimensional chakra and light body. Any interdimensional and or any connection to any realm that's out of alignment with your highest good and divine will, all programs, codes, and or any energy in any form that's not in alignment with your highest good and divine will, hereby clearing it from your sixth level chakra and light body now. Clearing, 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 aligning, 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 dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Any energy is not in alignment with your highest good and divine will with your sixth chakra, sixth level light body. Moving on to the seventh chakra, seventh dimensional light body. Hereby in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I am presences, clearing any other codes, programs, limitations, any connections to any realm and or energy that's not in alignment with your highest good and divine will related to your seventh chakra and seventh dimensional light body, hereby clearing all these energies and or codes or connections to light. Now, clear, 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 dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. So it's in perfect harmony and balance with the 7 dimensional levels of your physical being now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aligning, aligning, aligning in higher alignment, perfect alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I am presences. All is flowing freely through these 7 dimensional levels of your being now. Moving on to the 8th dimensional level, clearing all energies in all forms, all connections to all realms that doesn't serve you in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I am presences, hereby clearing all these energies from the 8th chakra, 8th dimensional light body, from your being that's not in alignment with your pure divine essence of your I am being, eternal light that you are, dissolving any energy and or connection that's out of alignment with your divine I am eternal self. Now. Dissolving, 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 clearing, 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 flowing, flowing, flowing. Mahatma love, flowing, flowing, flowing. Taking a deep breath. Moving on to the ninth. Deep breath. Clearing all energies in all forms and any connections to any realm that doesn't allow the pure divine light of your own Christ light to flow. Any program or code connected to your ninth chakra, ninth level light body that's out of alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I am and God's self monads. Clearing, clearing, clearing. Dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Flowing, flowing, flowing. Ninth, cleared now. On to the 10th. Any energies, programs, codes in any dimensional level of your being in all timelines that restricts the light of your 10th chakra, 10th dimensional light body, from resistance and or restriction in any way that's out of alignment with your highest good and divine will of your eternal God selves, clearing all these energies to light now. Clearing, clearing, clearing. Dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Regarded 10th chakra, 10th dimensional light body now. Take a deep breath. 11th chakra now. 11th dimensional light body. Clearing all energies in all forms, all codings, programs, and all dimensional levels and or any timeline related to your 11th dimensional level of your being that restricts the flow and or limits and or is not in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your eternal God selves, dissolving all these energies and or connections to light now. Taking a deep breath. On to the 12th dimensional level of your being, 12th chakra, 12th dimensional light body. The space of your own God self monad. The personal essence of your personal source. Hereby, in this 12th dimensional level, clearing any energy and or pattern or program that limits the pure divine essence of your own God self monad from flowing freely through all dimensional levels of being. Any energy and or connection or timeline or essence within any realm that's not in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your God self monads is hereby transmuted to light and dissolved now. Dissolving, 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 clearing, clearing, clearing your 12th dimensional level of your being now. Now I ask your God self monads, in alignment with your highest good and divine will of each one of you that hear my words at this time, to flow enhanced quotance of Mahatma love down through the levels of your being now. From the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, down to the first chakra. Taking a deep breath, breathing in this divine light. Now breathe out. Grounding, grounding, grounding. Grounding this divine light and love down into the center of Mother Earth. Now. Hereby offer the love. Each one of you hear my words. Offer the love, the internal light that you are feeling at this time to Mother Earth. Offer it to Mother Earth and all that exists on Earth and all dimensional levels. Just offer this love and eternal bliss that you are feeling at this time to all on Earth and all that exists within the universe. Take deep breaths. And with your out-breath, expand this light that you are beyond your physical body, out beyond the physical body, out in through all directions from where you physically sit and exist at this time. Just offer this love and eternal bliss out in all directions. Taking deep breaths. I hereby state to each of you, you can repeat my words out loud and or to yourselves if you wish. I hereby release all energies, programs, codings, connections to all realms within existence that does not align with my highest good and divine will of my I am God selves. I hereby release all these energies and connections that are out of alignment with my highest good and divine will now. Take a deep breath. I hereby align all 12 levels of my being now, so that all levels of my eternal knowledge and light are flowing freely through all 12 levels of my chakras and light bodies now. I hereby release all energies that restrict the eternal light that I am from flowing freely through all dimensional levels of my being now. I am that I am. Love without conditions. Now. Take a deep breath. I hereby state to each one of you individually, and all that are open to receive, in alignment with your highest good and divine will of your I am and God self-monads. All that's in perfect alignment with your divine essence, in perfect harmony and balance, that all dimensional levels of your being are perfectly in condition to handle the higher dimensional levels of your own beingness, higher levels of your own expanded knowledge and love, that all is flowing freely. You can say out loud, I hereby release. I hereby release. I release all that no longer serves me now. I love. I love. I love all dimensional levels of my being, eternal light that I am now. I release all patterns of fear now. I release all patterns of disempowerment now. I release all patterns and programs of separation from my eternal knowledge and love now. I am that I am, eternal light and love now. Take a deep breath. Seeing the light that you are, and with each breath, expanding out the light that you are beyond your physical body, out beyond the room that you sit, out into the city that you exist, out into the countryside, out into the ocean, around the world of the earth, radiating through all dimensional levels of the earth, that you simultaneously exist on all dimensional levels of the earth already. You already exist on all dimensional levels of the universe. The more of the resistance that you release from already your eternal beingness, your eternal knowledge and consciousness just flows. So take a deep breath. Feel yourself. Feel the eternal self. See that I am only another aspect of your own self just talking to you now. That we're already one. That all we have to do is just let go of the separation from all this beingness and oneness that we are. I am that I am. That all is in alignment with your highest good and divine will, that you are open and or now cleared your vessel to be pure divine flow, and all its condition is flowing freely. From this day, you have the choice to keep aligned and release. As we do, we stay in balance and harmony with the changes that are going on here on Earth and in the universe. The more of us to do this, the more it assists all. It assists the Earth and the universe in moving and through these changes in harmony and balance. So I honor all of you that have participated in this meditation, and all of you on Earth that are being the change, that are being the divine balance at this time, that are integrating your eternal selves, that are having the willingness to step up and step out of fear at this time, that are integrating your own eternal knowledge and love with every breath you take and every step you take in your lives. I hereby state and thank Sai Baba for participating in this meditation and radiating divine eternal love without conditions and assistance. I am that I am. And I thank each one of you for being the divine light that you are, the eternal love beyond all illusion. Blessings to all. Take a deep breath, everyone. Bring your awareness back to your space by moving your hands and toes, taking some deep breaths. Breathing the awareness through your physical body. Opening your eyes, moving your arms and legs. again, I thank each one of you that participate in this meditation. Namaste.